Okay, we're live.
And here we are, back on the podcast. And hope you're all having a wonderful day, a wonderful December, and looking forward to a very peaceful time over the Christmas period and the holiday period, no matter what you believe or what your faith. Hope you have a very peaceful time coming up with your families. And we've just come on just to briefly have a very quick chat. We've just had a very busy, a very hectic 2024. So lots of things happened, and certainly a super 2025 on its way as well.
Yeah, perfect. I think from our perspective, it's been a bit of a kind of roller coaster year, I guess, really. In fact, it's hard to think a year's gone past because it's been
Crazy.
Kind of head down. This train's been on a pretty quick track, and we've been through some amazing experiences, I guess, really. And I think from my perspective, again, most people don't tend to realise that SRA as a kind of organisation has been kind of active for a year, I guess, on social media, from a website perspective, but there was a whole year behind that of work that was going on from our perspective in terms of
Building and developing.
Building, developing, branding, the images, the website, of course. There was an awful lot of work that went in behind it for the first year. So for us, it's like 2 years of work, whereas for most other people, we've been kind of on the public stage, I guess, for 1 year, and it's been quite an interesting time, I guess, from our perspective, really.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been amazing, and like all businesses, when you open, I think they always say the first 12 months are going to be the hardest. So we've had our first 12 months of trading. The amount of support that we've had has been incredible. So thank you very, very much for all of that. Challenges, always. There's always things that you oversee, and there's always things that come up and bite you that you have to deal with. But we've come through all of that. Lessons have been learned. The smoother process, without question, is going to happen next year. And this is the work that we're doing now. In where we affectionately call Terry Towers. This is his spiritual home. This is where he resides, and where we very fortunately and very luckily are able to come in and do our work as well. So we've got a big whiteboard with lots of ideas and lots of things that are going to start coming through to fruition. So very, very exciting times ahead. We're looking forward to next year without question.
I think that's one of the things for me, really. Every time we walk through the door here, it's kind of an amazing building, and anyone that comes here is going to see just kind of how amazing it is, because it's actually hard to kind of show it on camera. When you look at things through the lens of a camera, you don't really get the physical part, you don't get the smells, you don't get the sounds, you don't get to kind of do the physical bit. You just see that kind of 1D flat image, really. But when I walk through the door here every day, this is a very, very peaceful place. And when we do walk through the door, generally we've got Terry to say morning to, because he's always stood him out. And it feels kind of odd because obviously we're both mediums, therefore we can both talk to spirit, of course. So Terry, being in spirit, is always here because this is where all of his stuff is. All of his documentation's here, all of the presentations that he wrote, we've got here, all of the online material. So everything that he did with myself and Chen, everything's here basically in this building. So when we come in, it kind of feels like we're walking into this sort of symbiotic kind of space where we've got the physical parts of John and I, and of course we've got Terry following us around when we make coffee and we make tea. And there's this voice continually that's, well, we want to do this, we need to do that, and have you thought about this, and have you thought about that? So it's kind of odd. It feels to me like he's actually really here. I know it kind of sounds odd, but obviously being a medium, we're hearing him talking, and therefore we don't see the physical part of him, but he's got. We
certainly get the energy part of it.
Get the energy, and and his frame of mind and the way he speaks hasn't changed. So the way he speaks to me is the way he spoke to me when he was alive, and obviously John the same.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Kind of quite good fun, really, from that perspective. But today we've been whiteboarding where we're going and what we're doing for next year. And obviously Terry's instrumental in some of those things on that whiteboard are things that we may not choose to do ourselves, but they're things that Terry wants to happen, and therefore they're acknowledged and they're part of the conversation. So I think from an SRA outbound perspective, it's interesting to see what you guys see that we are doing and what we're not doing and where we're going. And I think we've come up with some challenges and lessons, I guess, as the kind of time's gone by. And there's a lot of things that have happened during the courses that we would never have thought about, we never kind of perceived. We've needed to react to things and change and make things better. And I think from my perspective, the more problems that we get, the better the academy becomes. Because every time there's a problem, there has to be a reaction from our perspective to deal with the problem. And whether that problem is an IT problem, we've had problems with people logging into websites, and we've had the normal challenges around passwords and that kind of stuff. So every time there's a problem, there has to be a reaction on our basis to resolve the problem so it doesn't continue to happen. And that, I think, makes this journey for us all so much stronger and so much clearer, because we are making things better continually behind the scenes. And I think we said to the first group of students back in November last year, you're the guinea pigs, basically. You're the first guys through the gate. You're going to be the first ones on the training course that we planned, and we planned it pretty stringently, really. And we timed it, and we worked through it lots and lots of times. And we were pretty clear that we can deliver the best training in the world in SRT because of the thoroughbred that we have, because of the work that Terry's done, and the fact that we know the subject intimately, and we've been doing it for 30 years, 40 years between
20
us.
years each.
For 40 years worth of time and work. So we know that this is our area and this is what we do. And therefore, we know that the SRA is the best place to be trained if you want to be trained by a professional company. And that's what we need to do. We need to come out next year increasing our professional way that we work, the way the course runs, everything behind the scenes is being kind of reviewed. We're making some changes. We're going to be updating websites. There's a whole list of things that we have aboard that seems to never end, basically. But SRA is only going in one direction from our perspective, and I think it's an achievement that we both need to acknowledge. And of course, it's with people like yourselves behind the scenes, especially students that we can see on here. You can see the normal names of Gita, Nadine, Michelle, Gabby, Nicole, people that we know, we've met, they've been in the training, so we know you guys very well. And I think it's thanks to people like yourselves that we're attracting this very professional, high level of student, which is where we want to be. That's our space, basically, to being with the best people and training the best people.
And that's exactly where we are. So now we're coming into the end of the year, we've got an option and the availability of time to be able to put these things together. All through the year, we're constantly having ideas, thinking about things, but because there's always the next course coming up, we always have to prioritize that over anything else. And now, of course, we're coming into the end of the year, the quieter period where we do have time to actually sit down and get these ideas, as Andy said, on the whiteboard, out of our heads and start the process of prioritizing and getting it done. But it is always good, whatever business you have, whatever you do, it's always good to look back and just recognize the achievements. And from where we were a year ago to where we are now, with this Christmas, over 60 students that have come through. And some are coming through to their certifications now, which is really exciting. And of course, what it does mean is that that's 60 people that are certified and being trained and going out there working towards helping people that are vulnerable, helping people that have mental health issues, energy issues, however we describe it. We know what that is. But the more people that do this, the more work will be done, the more that word will travel, and the more practitioners will be required, because it's a very big task. It's a very big task. And so to be at sort of the cutting edge of that is a very honourable place to be, and something that we certainly value ourselves. It's a big thing for us, definitely. So looking back, some huge achievements, and we're only looking to get better next year. So we have got things planned for next year. You will start to see those coming through, hopefully in the next few weeks into the first couple of months, but they will include obviously the courses and teachings that we do.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, I think one of the things that I sort of look back and think we've done really well is when we wanted to run the training, we were obviously looking to rent rooms. We looked at the sort of rooms that we could rent and the places that we could rent them. We looked at the hotels and the options to run the courses. And what we both decided was we wanted to be high-end. So this was a high-end academy with high-end people. We're attracting high-end practitioners that are working with integrity, with the right ethics. So one of the places, obviously, was Beechwood House that we kind of did the last in-person course. And that's a kind of, it's a 5-star English residence. It's a pretty amazing place, swimming pools, that kind of thing, lots of history. And the rooms, again, everything about it is top end really. So everything is 5-star. And one of the things that we hadn't thought about was diet. So when people come to the training courses, we started to realise there was a wide variety of dietary requirements that people were going to have. So it wasn't a case that we can just put some sandwiches on and kind of call that lunch. There were a lot of people that were gluten-free. So what we did, we spoke to the hotel, and they actually hired us in a gluten-free chef, basically, for the week. So the food that was being made for lunch
was exceptional. Was
basically high-end gluten-free food from a gluten-free specialist chef. And I look back at it and I laugh to myself and think, when we talked about SRA and the courses, we would have never thought about food. We would never have thought about gluten-free food. And we certainly wouldn't have thought about hiring a gluten-free chef.
Specialist chef.
That comes at obviously an interesting cost to do that. But that's what makes our courses different. Our courses are based around top end, and this is where we both agreed this is where we want to be. We want to be in the top end. So we've set this bar exceedingly high, and it's been high all year, and next year's bar is higher. So again, what we're expecting to deliver, we can deliver courses from this training location that we're in now, but the bar is continually moving up. So neither of us are happy to kind of just do training that's okay, because we don't want to be okay. We want to be exceptional, and we want to connect with lots of different organisations around the world and talk about some of the things that are our passion. So people with mental health problems, intrusive thoughts, people with anxiety, suicidal. This is kind of the place that we want to be. And to connect with those sorts of organisations, we need to be that top end organisation and academy. And that's where we set our sights, and that's where we're going to be, basically, which is really exciting from my perspective to be, in a place that we lead the field effectively.
Absolutely, and I think what it is that we've got some students that come through, and they're absolutely amazing. The practitioners, they are forming the foundation for us to build upon for next year. So lots of things happening, lots of building going on, and it's only going to get better, and we really can't wait for 2025 and to start skating into the new year. Skating,
yeah, exactly. I think this is the thing. I think it sort of feels like we can both take a breath now. It's been a pretty massive, focused year for us both, basically. And this is, we've got a couple of weeks that we can sit back, we can relax, we're whiteboarding new ideas, new challenges that are coming forward, and obviously adapting and changing the academy in those ways effectively. So I think it's fair to say we've got a very interesting vision for the future in terms of how we want the academy to be seen externally and the sorts of people that we want to attract as our practitioners and students as well.
So for now, we would just like to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for being with us over the last 12 months. And we look forward to being with you again as we go into the next 12 months, our second year of trade. So whether or not you celebrate Christmas, we just wish you all happy holidays. Have a wonderful December. Stay healthy, stay happy, and we look forward to speaking to you at some point in the new year. Have a wonderful time. Take care, guys, and look after yourselves.
Cheers, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.